The string of interesting JRPG releases continues into August with one of the more surprising sequel announcements in recent memories. Soul Hackers 2, a sequel coming out 25 years after the release of the first game and 10 years after the remake of that first game, has a tall task ahead of it to revive the series. Given what I've seen from it so far though, I think it has a chance to be a solid and unique adventure with a fun-looking cast and twists on the usual Atlus gameplay systems. Soul Hackers is part of the Devil Summoner series, a spin-off from Megami Tensei, the series that has spun off so many games it's hard to keep track of all of them. The original Soul Hackers game, Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, came out in 1997 and had a remake done in 2012 for the 3DS. While Devil Summoner had a couple games come out after that, the Soul Hackers label hasn't been used again until Soul Hackers 2 was announced. Devil Summoner Soul Hackers is a first-person dungeon crawler with combat focused on managing your demon team and their personalities. Soul Hackers 2 has changed several things with regards to gameplay, adopting a third-person perspective and introducing more social simulation elements. Soul Hackers 2 will also be the first SMT-related game with a voice protagonist since... let's see. I'm not sure. Wow, Atlus loves its mostly silent protagonists. Despite these differences, though, the core gameplay of dungeon crawling and demon summoning remains. Soul Hackers 2 is developed by Atlus and publishing will be handled by Atlus in Japan, Atlus West in North America, and Sega in Europe. The game comes out on August 25th in Japan and the next day worldwide for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series. First off, let's talk about our main protagonist, Ringo. Ringo, along with her companion Fugu, is a digitally created being by the, and this is the trailer's description of them, the digital hive mind Ion. That doesn't sound ominous at all, but I digress. Ion created Ringo and Fugu to try to avert the coming apocalypse that Ion predicts will occur. In order to save the world, they will need to prevent the deaths of some particular human devil summoners who then become allies in their quest to avert disaster. Ringo has possession of soul hacking abilities that should prove helpful on their quest, as it did for reviving those devil summoners to begin with, although the limits of those powers is still to be determined. There are a lot of moving parts that the main cast are thrust into with the conflict between the groups Yatagarasu and the Phantom Society. This is only the beginning as the group tries to prevent the Great One from fulfilling fate and bringing ultimate destruction to the world. Set in a somewhat distant future Japanese city, this tale appears to be a struggle in the cyberpunk dark world to save everything. The story certainly intrigues me so far, and with such a small cast, I could see a lot of great character development coming throughout the playthrough. I'm really fascinated by how the story will develop, although it's hard for me to predict where it's going given my lack of familiarity with the Devil Summoner series or the first Soul Hackers game. I certainly expect more characterization and story focus than I encountered in Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I especially like the possible personal connections with the antagonists many of our parties seem to have. It's a good hook to grab players, and now they just need to keep us engaged throughout the ride. On the social simulation side of things, each character has a soul level that can be enhanced by various things. Hanging out with them at the bar they frequent, certain answers to questions, and diving into the Soul Matrix. These hangout events will hopefully be a big part of the characterization and getting us into a familiar relationship with the cast. It was hinted in one of the trailers that enhancing a character's soul level will have tangible combat benefits, which I was very happy to hear. I really enjoy when a game's systems feed into one another, and I hope Soul Hackers 2 Combat also gives benefits to the social simulation side of things. I was also heartened to see that when answering questions, you get immediate feedback on how each answer will affect your party's soul levels. No guesswork or guides needed here. You are given the information straight up. While the Soul Matrix was introduced, it is still somewhat unclear as to what exactly it will entail. One Japanese trailer shows Ringo and a party member watching memories of the past. It seems by exploring the Soul Matrix, the characters are able to navigate and come to terms with their conflicting emotions and past trauma. Oh, and also fight literal demons in their minds. Again, that is my impression based on the trailers with no direct confirmation as of yet. All in all, I'm excited to navigate through and see how the characters react to the manifestation of their psyches. The actual dungeon exploration seems pretty straightforward. You control Ringo as she runs around from a third-person perspective. Enemies appear as red shapes popping up as you move around, but with no specific indication of what demons they are. I do wish we could see which ones are which, like in SMT5, but alas, no luck in this game. You can hit enemies with Ringo's weapon to engage in combat or to surprise them and gain an advantage or an opening to get by them in the field. Enemies likewise can take you by surprise if you are not paying attention to your surroundings, but having Figu there as the navigator of sorts to warn of danger should mitigate that possibility. There's nothing that really makes this part of the gameplay special, but it seems fine enough. The dungeon design likewise seems fine, but rather bare from the footage I have seen so far, so the main focus and excitement is likely coming from battle. When it comes to combat, there is a lot that is familiar with the battle system. Turn-based combat with elemental attacks and physical attacks that enemies have weaknesses or resistance to have been a staple of Megami Tensei games and their spin-offs for decades now. In Soul Hackers, these attacks can be performed by the characters themselves with their weapons or by the demons that they can summon. As you hit enemy weaknesses, you can stack those attacks to perform a powerful skill called a Sabbath at the end of your turn that hits all enemies. These stacks can go all the way up to 16. It's gonna be fun to get there. I like how Atlus introduces these wrinkles onto its well-worn and frequently reused turn-based system. It gives both a sense of familiarity and some spice to switch it up for veteran players. I look forward to seeing how the system plays out and how progression for our party members goes as well. The core of the combat system, though, lies in the demons who help your party. Considering you fight with summoned demons, collecting those demons and getting them on your team is a vital aspect of the Soul Hackers gameplay loop. In each dungeon area, your party of demons are sent out at the beginning to explore around, and when you find them within the dungeon, you can then get rewards. These include healing, money, items, and also the chance to recruit more demons. You must then persuade the demons to join with you. I like this system better than SMT's because it's no longer solely squeezed in with the battle system. You can still recruit demons from battle, which is helpful so you're not depending on random chance on what demons are possible to recruit, but this system just gives another safer way to test out your negotiating skills. The previews also mention that leveling up demons that you have collected is easier with the whole party gaining experience as you go along regardless of which demons are being directly used at the time. As usual, you will need to fuse demons together to create new, more powerful ones so you can face up better to more dangerous foes. The fusion takes place during the downtime between dungeons, but given the lack of calendar you have to focus on, you can take your time in the game to make yourself as powerful as you wish to. The downtime is also used for the social simulations mentioned before, along with cooking meals to give boosts when going back to dungeon exploring, and other activities. Unsurprisingly, this is the best time to stock up on items and upgrade weapons if you can at some of the stores around the city. I won't say the side content is extensive in the game, but there's at least some to occupy your time as your party rests and prepares for the next challenge heading their way. Finally, I want to talk about the presentation of the game. As with a lot of Atlus games, Soul Hacker 2's design is themed around a particular color, in this case, purple. I'm all for that. I said in my Persona 6 video that I'd like that game's color to be purple, so I certainly can't complain that Atlus used it for another game. The art in general looks nice, although much like the dungeons, I feel like there's not enough variety in architecture and general environmental design. That could be purposeful to show a homogenized view of the future Japan, but I still hope they can find a way to spice it up over the course of the playthrough. That being said, the character designs drew no critiques from me. I like how they look and fit the world they inhabit. The demons likewise look good. I was a big fan of the revamped art of them for SMT5, and those designs carry over to this game, although I'm hoping some of my favorites from SMT5 who have not been confirmed will make their return in Soul Hackers 2 as well. Give me Finn and Idun, please. Musically, everything that I've heard so far has pleased my ears. The opening grows on me every time I listen to it, and the battle themes get the energy flowing. The menu design and UI and UX seem good, although they also feel more 2D than the menus in other recent Atlus games. They're still solid in the design and information presentation areas, they're just not as immersive or stylish as other Atlus games, but that's just Atlus's fault for raising the bar previously. Then we come to the voice acting. While we've heard precious little of the English voice acting so far, what I have heard and what I know about the performers in the main cast has me confident the voice acting will be good. Most of them have worked in previous Atlus works with great results, so I see no cause for worry. If there's one area I'm least worried about Soul Hackers 2 living up to its promise in, it's the presentation. Soul Hackers 2 seems like an intriguing game. Certainly not a revolutionary one, but one that seems suited for those who enjoy Atlus's work and want to play more. The combat and presentation are looking good, the story and characters are intriguing, and hopefully it captured the attention of people amongst this deluge of games. Sadly, Atlus has been under-marketing this game outside of Japan with limited trailers and footage, and it seems all the news in the West about the game is the admittedly bad Day 1 DLC. But that's where some of us can step in and try and help spread the word. On that note, thank you for watching. Let me know if you're planning on picking up Soul Hackers 2, and if you are amenable, please give this video a like. Let's do a better job than Atlus West Press in marketing this game. Subscribe to keep up with the channel, and if you get the chance, not too long ago, I got a new channel banner featuring some great characters from Allie, a lovely artist I met through Twitter. Feel free to admire the banner, and there is a link to Allie's Twitter if you want to follow her as well. Thank you. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, and happy gaming.